What up, guys and girls? Another brand new video coming at you today. We are back for another round of the Dynamic Knights Esports, the Master Tier on the PS4. We're here for round number 6 here at the Italian Grand Prix. As we just leave the lane right about now and just wait behind. That's one of the racing points behind, so we just managed to get ahead. There's what happened at the previous round of Canada, which unfortunately I did miss. So there's the championship standings now. Zach's got a 20-point lead over Aaron. I think we're P11 in the standings. Mercedes have got a pretty handy lead over Racing Point, and Haas have dropped all the way back to position 7. But yes, if you were wondering, like I said probably in the last video at Singapore, I did miss the Canadian Grand Prix. It was the same night as my cricket presentation, and unfortunately I didn't get back in time for the Canadian Grand Prix, so I had to miss that round. But I'm back again as we, fortunately we cut turn 1, which wasn't the ideal start. Did get a little bit of a sort of a cheeky slipstream as Zach was sort of coming out of the pit lane. I assume coming out to do the first run for himself. But anyway, we basically continued on the lap here, and I was sort of trying to help 40 out a little bit here. That was probably a little bit of an awkward rejoin there. I was trying my best, I think, to sort of like give 40 a little bit of a slipstream there. I don't actually know whether it worked to full effect in the end, but we'll have to wait and see here. But we'll stick aboard here for a flying lap here of the Italian Grand Prix, and you'll understand why. Maybe you helped 40 because he sets a 19.458 here. Now we fly down into turn 1, getting pretty much a slipstream from the back of 40 as well in the racing point into turn 1 and 2. Literally had to avoid cutting the corner again, like avoiding that same mistake that I made in the first flying lap here. But getting a nice stream there from 40. I don't actually know whether he realised it was actually on a flyer or not, but anyway, it sort of helped out a little bit. We go, I think, purple in the first sector there. Wasn't the ideal run through the Variante della Roggia. That's my Italian pronunciation, guys, not good. Now into the first Lesbos. Running it out very wide there, and into the second Lesbo now. They're running out too wide there, and now into the DRS second zone here. Onto this, we can sort of say it's a back straight here. Next up is Ascari. So we again somehow go purple. Was just slightly down on 40's time, I think, in the middle sector. Nice flowing run there through Ascari. Now another long straight here. What was it, a 52.76 that was on the second second sector, I should say. Now into Parabolica. It's a tricky little corner here. It was a fairly difficult run here. Now you take the shortest run to the line as you dare, and we just literally go to the top for the time being by literally not by much. You probably hear in the background that was Mako in the background just saying I beat 40 by about 1/1000th of a second. I did a 19.457, and obviously I said 40 did a 19.458. So yeah, it was literally nothing much in it between myself and 40 at the time being. Obviously I had to cut through turn 1. Just literally I was just trying to avoid everybody that was on flies there at the moment. Just trying to get out of everybody's road there. But anyway, we'll come into the pit lane. That was an interesting moment there. It was some people might find it funny, some may not. Maybe Toddy, for example. But yeah, let's just say a lot of the guys were chatting in the party chat, and Toddy wasn't overly thrilled. I think he was on a flyer at the exact same time. So anyway, well, I can't remember whether it was actually funny or not there, but we let one of the Toro Rossos out of the pit lane. It actually turned out to be the Gaming Wave, who was actually in the same party as we were doing this race. So basically, if you're wanting to know who was in the party, we've got obviously Waffles, my teammate Toddy, as always. We also had Maka, Stuart McKenzie. We had 40 as always, and first time actually I've been in a party with F1 Amazing Hour. Now obviously, if you remember back to the 100% race back at the Australian Grand Prix that we did, obviously for what's going on in the current pandemic, as that was BK, I think that was, in the Alfa Romeo has had a bit of a spin coming around Parabolica there. But yeah, obviously that was the first time I'd raced F1 Amazing Hour on the PS4 side. I'd never raced him previous to that, but I had seen what he's capable of, as we saw then on that second run. We validated that lap time, so basically just aborted the lap and let's come back into the pit lane. We were up on our previous time for the time being, but there's still a long, long way to go here. I think we've dropped down the order here into P4 here, but literally going to go back out again, and it was a bit of a question mark whether I would actually, well, sort of do a lap and then come back in again and do another lap. This is going to be the real question mark here because it's just under 6 minutes. I literally just quickly switched the tyres around. Yeah, that was pretty much it. Just left the garage. That was pretty much it. Just went straight back out in. But what everyone else was saying in the party chat, I think they were all waiting around for later on in the session here. So we're literally going to use our last set of soft compound tyres. I did use the softer compound of tyres. Was it the softer set or something or other that you do before qualifying anyway? But that's the order at the moment there. We're still P4. As I think Mac is currently on provisional pole for the time being. Zach's in P2 and Waffles is in P3. But I knew I could have the potential that this 19.4, I knew there was just a bit more in it. Like the pace I've had around here. I'm also taking a really, really big risk around here, especially considering it's Italy and it's long straights, literally, well, pretty much majority of the track there. But obviously Toddy went out ahead of us there. You saw coming out of the pit lane. But I'm taking a big risk here. I think last time I did Spain, no, not Spain, Italy. Where am I thinking? Yeah, Spain and Italy, well, I might be close any in Europe, but anyway, forget about that. The last time I ran around Italy, I think it was AOR, and I think I used like 2 4-wings from memory, but I'm taking a punt on 1 5-wings. Now, probably people will be cringing when I say that, but anyway, it's as we come through the second chicane there, and we invalidate the lap time there. So that was not ideal, let's just say the least anyway, but we'll continue on, as that's one of the Red Bulls just getting out of the road there. So, yeah, I mean, I continued on to see what the lap time would actually, what lap time we would end up with had we not invalidated that corner through the second chicane there. So as we're coming out through Ascari now, there's been a heap of drama going on here. I think F1 Amazing Hour was definitely one of it. There's a wheel off to the left-hand side there. I think both the Mercedes maybe had a little bit of drama there as well. So that corner can easily catch you out there as a 40 now goes with a 19 flat. But we lost a bit of time coming through, I think, the end of the middle sector and into the third sector. So that really cost us in the end. I think we're only up by about 4/100ths of a second in the end. But, Macca, big sideways, like I said. It can catch you out of Scar if you just get it wrong, as it did for Macca there. But you probably see on board here with Toddy. That was amazing. Now there's both the Mercs. So literally working in tandem this race. It's Zach and it's not Aaron this week. I think he missed this round at Italy. I think it's Dr. Dre. But anyway, 40 does get pole position, but obviously in the 19.0 ahead of Stuart McKenzie. Toddy ended up my teammate in P4. We dropped all the way back to P7. Had I set the proper lap time, it would have been close. I think we would have probably been in position 6. But anyway, it is what it is, really. Unfortunately, I cut the chicane and that was it. But get to the race strategy. I mean, it's pretty simple around here. Find clear skies as well. But we're going to go start on the softs and then go onto the medium compounded tyres. Pretty simple around here. I've put on a lot of fuel as well because with the long straights, literally you need a lot of fuel there as both the guys on the front row having probably a little bit of fun with each other, as obviously they're on the front row of the grid. As we set off now for the formation lap. Hopefully I haven't forgotten anybody in the party chat. But anyway, we're getting ourselves out for the formation lap. And it was pretty simple here, as you can see. Literally, as we come toward the end of the lap here, I think 40 literally waited up for everybody. Literally, it was a slow way to the grid. I didn't mind it, obviously, but you do not want to run up the rear of somebody and get yourself disqualified from the formation lap anyway. But you're basically starting on the grid with relatively cold tyres there anyway. But yeah, I mean, I'm fairly confident I could score some, I'd say decent points. I mean, I probably won't match it with the top guys at the top out of qualifying, but if you get some decent points out of this, I'd be pretty happy. Since it hasn't been since Singapore, this is obviously what happened there. But anyway, we're just waiting for everybody to ready up here. Literally just waiting for everybody to ready up. Hopefully, won't be too long. Here we go. We're all set to go for the Italian Grand Prix. 5 red lights. And away we do not go because literally, I was literally so annoyed off the start line there. You're probably wondering what on earth happened there. Well, unfortunately, I got a light glitch, and I was not the only one that got a light glitch. I think a few others actually got caught out with the light glitch there. So, yeah, well, that's really screwed up our start there, unfortunately. So, nice Codemasters games as always. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know what it is, whether it's to do with Codemasters or whether it's with the person's internet connection or what, I don't know. I haven't had a light glitch for probably a fair while, to be honest. I don't think I've had one on the PS4 to date so far anyway, but yeah, we've got a long way to go to catch back up in this race here, as we're both behind Wogboy and Very Lazy Tao. Now Tao is on the medium compounder tyres, I believe, as there's yellow flags behind us, a few guys being caught up in the background there. It's, I think it's Macca's leading the way, currently ahead of 40, and then you got, I think, Zach maybe in P3, I don't know actually. Might be actually my teammate Toddy, because I think Zach possibly may have got a light glitch as well. But anyway, we've completed the first, almost completed the first lap here of the Italian Grand Prix. It seemed pretty simple up front here, nothing much there, as we actually derating the ERS, so we're losing, using quite a bit, I should say. But we're under nearly attack here from Dr. Dre behind in the Mercedes as we lock up. Literally missed my braking marker going to turn. Well, I had to take that track limits warning there, of course, but it's amazing how I actually picked up on that one. So told if I missed my braking marker, and we just we'll carry on as if nothing has happened. As off, someone's off the road, and his Waffles has made an error coming through the second chicane there. From what I heard in the party chat, I think he may have rode the curbs wrong, and unfortunately, if you ride the curbs wrong, you'll end up in the gravel, just like Waffles did there in the end. So, gaming way for, I think he lost a few spots in the end. So we're back pretty much back in our where we qualified in our qualifying position here, as the guys in front are really starting to pull away here. We're sort of trying to keep in touch, obviously, with these guys in front here, as there's yellow flags behind. So I don't know what's going on here, but Wogboy's putting enormous pressure here on Lazy Tao into turn 1. And I think he should get the move done. Yes, he will. And now we're just going to try and get past Lazy Tao as quickly as possible. So like I said, he's on the medium compound tyres. We're on the soft. So if we can get past him quickly as we can, then we could try and hopefully catch up with Wogboys. We've got F1 Amazing Hour right up our gearbox as well. I think he may have had a look going into the turn 2 there, but I don't think he was quite far enough up in the end. I could be wrong. I may have shut the door on him there. So anyway, we're coming through the first and Lesmo run. We run wide, get the gravel, try and save it, but we're out, unfortunately.
Let me know you're all right.
Apparently just avoided that one.
Yeah, and it was a pretty close call in the end for Amazing Hour. I don't actually know exactly how close it was, but with how close behind he was behind me, I would not be surprised. As a virtual safety car has been deployed here. Have a look at the replay of the start here, so you can see there's a few guys that get stuck on the grid there. So I think 40 definitely got a light glitch. Zach got a light glitch. Don't think it was too many other. Obviously, myself, we got a light glitch as well. Let's have a look on board here with Stuart McKenzie as Macca goes off the line here. As you can see, well, you could literally say he gets a really ripper start there, but unfortunately, I think, like I said, 40 got caught up with the light glitch there as well. So let's have a look on board with Toddy. So Macca goes 40. I think only just misses it, not by much, with the light glitch, but Zach obviously got caught up with the light glitch big time. Let's have a look on board with Aussie Wizzy Rick. I mean, look at this. This is just ridiculous. And I literally feel for any of the guys that got caught up with this light glitch. This is just ridiculous, especially with poor old Aussie Wizzy Rick. Lost out big time there. And literally half the grid was gone by the time he left. Anyway, but he's the top two. I think they switched around. This was happened a bit earlier, obviously, on lap 2 there. So I think 40 got back ahead of Macca Stewart there as he's Aussie Wizzy Rick trying to make his comeback. He's currently P19 and battling with Plebs, and I think that's Alex in the Red Bull, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is. So trying to get moves done here as Plebs goes up the inside here of Alex, and he does get the move done. But if you're wondering why Plebs was at the near the back of the grid, he copped a qualifying ban for I think crashing out during there's a rule that was brought out where there was no rule originally, I don't think, but crashing out and bringing out a safety car, which obviously it's now a rule now. You can't do that, otherwise you'll cop a big penalty. But you saw then that Zach, I think, got by my teammate, so he's now up into position, back on the podium. It's amazing how it's actually cleared Lazy Towel. So basically, from now to the end of the race, I became pretty much the spotter here, literally just keeping an eye on the guys. On these guys and what was going on, and keeping up to tabs with everybody up in front as well, with what was going on with everybody else here. So we literally coming through. I think amazing how it's cleared Dr. Dre as well. So he's up in the 6th place here.
Oh, Bailey.
Bailey. I tell you what, if you looked on board with Macca's point of view on the top right there, you would have seen that 40 had a massive moment coming through, coming out of the exit of Ascari there. I do not know how when I watched that footage back from Macca's point of view, I still don't know how on earth he managed to save that. But anyway, it's amazing how I think he's just set the fastest lap of the race, and he's also got past Wogboy, so he's up in the position 5. And like I pointed out, he's now a full-time wheel user now. He's amazing how. So, like I said, come F1 2020, he's definitely going to be a one to watch here. So you see on the top right, Zach made a little error between the two Lesmos there, and it's going to put him under pressure here from my teammate behind here. He will have the DRS, obviously. There was a little bit of a lag moment there. That's mainly to do with my internet, not theirs. You can tell the difference from my point of view to Toddy's on the top right. But Toddy now gets back up onto the podium as there's yellow flags in Sector 3. Not sure what that was all about, but he's a bit further back. BK has got by, I think, Spilly there for P10. Now, obviously, there's quite a difference, obviously, with a couple of guys. Alex DNF'd from the Grand Prix. I think he must have, from memory, I think he retired in the pit lane, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong there, but I missed that one. Apologies for that. But there's Plebs into the pit lane, and unfortunately, his race is not really going to plan here at the moment. He's changed the front wing and gone onto a set of soft compound of tyres, which means you'll have to pit again. As I think something has happened there. I couldn't actually work out who that was. I think it was Aussie Wizzy Rick that may have had a moment. He's lost a few spots, and he's back outside the 10. As we have a look here as BK again. Oh, just managing to get his way through on Dr. Dre there. Oh, no, never mind. He's gone for a spin, I think. I think he may have done it all by himself. I'm not actually sure.
Go.
Don't know whether there was an actual tap or not from Dr. Dre or not. It's hard to say there. But meanwhile, his teammate, you can see on the top right, he and 40 were pretty much switching positions here. Now, obviously, for those two, their goal was to try and sort of keep ahead of Zach, obviously. But obviously, Zach's stuck behind my teammate for the time being. So this will definitely not help him here unless he maybe tries for an undercut here as Dr. Dre now comes into the pit lane. Now, this is probably near the point where you want to be pitting, obviously, getting off the soft compounded tyres and getting on your mediums. But I think I'm about to see here, Zach, I think possibly makes a late call to go into the pit lane. Don't know, maybe it might be a plan here to maybe try and undercut my teammate, but he's obviously coming to the pit lane. Ignore the glitch there where it obviously tries to think it's revving out your engine. It's just a glitch. I still don't know why they haven't fixed that. But yeah, he's going to come in early and try for a bit of an undercut. As Macca, like I said, I was trying to keep these guys updated with what everybody else was doing. As he comes out of the pit lane, I think he's dropped back into P11 there, so he's just behind Aussie Wizzy Rex. So he's just got a little bit of fresh air to deal with. But I think you'll find these guys are going to come in at the end of lap 9 to just make sure that they don't get the overcut, or Zach doesn't get the overcut on them. As Toddy as well is going to come in as well. I made sure I tried to fit everybody in. Wogboy's in as well, so pit stops are happening right about now. And these two of the 40 and Macca are pretty much, their pit stalls are not far from each other as 40 manages to stay ahead of, I think that was ahead of Macca. But Toddy did get held up a little bit, I think, from Wogboy, which may affect him coming out of the pit lane here. The top two, I think, are pretty much stay where they are, but Zach has well and truly gone, so he's definitely got the undercut there on Toddy massively there. So Toddy's going to have to work hard if he has to catch back up to Zach there for, well, like I said, effectively his fault opponent all lazy town getting a bit sideways there. So it's basically a few couple of guys. Here's El Tonki has had a bit of a moment in Sector 3. So it's amazing how, by the sounds of things, from what I heard, I didn't actually catch what happened. He nearly collects El Tonki because, like I said, obviously, ghosting is not a thing in Dynamic Nights Esports. So if he got tangled up with El Tonki, who knows what may have happened there. He might have actually lost his full front wing as actually El Tonki gets disqualified for parking in a dangerous location. So we won't finish last, but fortunately for Amazing Hour, he did get damage out of that. Must have been just a little bit of damage, so he's got a wing change and gone onto the medium compounder tires. I'll try and get my words right in a minute here, but he's now behind both Wogboy and Huda Magic, I think. We'll wait and see. Yes, he's actually come behind, I think, Dr. Dre there in the standings, but here's a battle here, just a little bit behind Zach there. It's Aussie, Wizzy, Rick, and The Rock. Oh, there's a little bit of contact between us and a bit of ghosting, so I'm not sure. There might have been a bit of contact, I don't know. Those guys are battling for position even though they've yet to pit, but Toddy, I think, has cleared The Rock. So he's up into P7 now. He's my teammate. As both the Ferrari boys have stayed out. Oh, they are staying, obviously, because they started on the opposite strategy there. So obviously still keeping an eye on what was going on behind with Zach, especially because I think at this stage of the race, Macca has a 3-second time penalty. I don't believe 40 has got any penalties, and neither does Zach at this stage, because I think these guys are going to have a switch around again, because I think Macca basically had to go here because Zach was sort of starting to close in a little bit here, but who knows? His tyres may die off a little bit considering he came in one lap earlier compared to the other two. But The Rock and Aussie Wizzy Rick have now come into the pit lane, so it should nearly be phasing itself out a little bit here for the Grand Prix. Obviously, the top two are still yet to pit. So, who's that? Dr. Dre and Huda Magic are battling there, and here comes Amazing Hour. Might nearly grab 2 for 1 here. I actually thought he was going to get 2 for 1 here. Gets by Huda Magic. Late move up the inside of Dr. Dre, which didn't work out in the end.
That was my fault. I went too deep, couldn't pull it up.
Yeah, you can see he put his hand up for that one. So he's going to keep let him have the position for now, but he'll fight for it very shortly here. So yeah, a bit of into yellow flags in Sector 1, I should say, but I think Pleasant harass, I think it is in the other McLaren, but here goes Amazing Hour, like I said, so it wasn't going to be too long before these guys switch back around and Amazing Hour finally gets back up into 8th place. So got a little bit of work to do. Obviously, safety cars could literally help out here a little bit. Here is Macca trying to, basically clear Spilly. And like I said, both the Ferrari boys have started on the medium compounded tyres. So they could go, well, as long into the Grand Prix as they can. But Macca has to clear these guys. There was a little bit of lag there that you probably could tell on Macca's point of view as well. Yeah, there was just a tiny bit of lag, but he gets the move, so it's up in the 2nd place for the time being. And now 40 hopefully should clear Spilly very shortly. Hopefully Spilly doesn't hold him up too much through there. Oh, nearly, it might have had a little error to Spilly, and 40's going to take full advantage coming through the 2nd Lesbo. So there you go. Up the inside. So those guys have cleared Spilly now as there's yellow flags. Huda Magic has gone off at the 2nd chicane. Now, obviously, that's the big thing because fuel and ERS is literally you use quite a lot, especially, literally it's a bit toss of the coin between the two of what you use a lot more. Probably you use a lot more ERS. You got to just sort of manage it cautiously through there. As 40 now takes back the effective race lead for now. So obviously those two, like I said, switching between positions for the time being. Obviously, keeping an eye out behind for Spilly, but he didn't really dive bomb in there, which is probably a good thing considering different strategies, like I said. As there's BK off the road again. I think that's coming out of Ascari. Yes, it is. So for old BK, he's having a terrible day all round. So one alpha's doing well and one alpha's not doing very well, unfortunately. But back we go here to the front here. Is I think Tao is actually... Oh, actually, no, I was right there. I thought for a moment then that Tao was going to make sort of pull out of the going into the pits lane, but there was a little bit of lag there on my part there. So Tao does come into the lane and gets onto the soft compounder tyres. It's literally set mediums, but it's actually the softs as the virtual safety car has been deployed for, because I think Harass is out of the Grand Prix in that McLaren. I think he's done at the second Lesmo, if you probably can tell from the mini-map. It's Lazy Tail's going to pop out in position 8, so this hasn't worked out too badly for him here, as he just manages to stay in front, get in front of Dr. Dre, I should say. And of course, Spilly is still yet to pit. Once Spilly pits, literally it'll all phase back into where everybody is on the racetrack. So a few other behind. Gaming Burger, Waffles, and Plebs, I think, are in the pit lane as well. So they're taking full advantage of the virtual safety car. Six Burger's gone on some mediums, Waffles on the mediums, Plebs is on the softs. As fortunately, I actually caught that on the bottom. You can see Lazy Tail got a drive-through penalty for spinning under the safety car.
He's just finished himself.
Literally, I told the guy straight away, and I had to double check to make sure that was not a glitch, because sometimes the game can screw up a little bit here, whether it's a glitch or not. But glitch can confirm Lazy Tail has got a drive-through penalty. I actually had to check the race director as well, just to double check, because that was someone going very wide. That was Lazy Tail. I think he may have actually lost a bit of front wing there. So yeah, his race is going to go downhill here, unfortunately, as his teammate Spilly's in the lane.
Not a Ferrari.
So he's on now to the soft compounded tyres. But interesting to see where Spilly actually pops out here.
There he goes.
So Tao's actually come back into the pit lane here. I think this is for a pit. I don't know whether it's for the drive-through or the pit stop. I don't actually know, but Spilly will drop into behind Dr. Dre for P8. So actually, it's going to be a pit stop here for Lazy Tail. I would not be surprised that's for a front wing change there. So have to keep an eye on that one there. But the gaps, I think there was a little bit of a glitch with some of the guys' timing screens as well, because it was saying like a certain number of seconds behind, when it was actually this certain number of seconds behind us. There's I think that might have been BK again, who's having a terrible day all around at the Scari. He'd be hating that corner at this point in time. It's we're just having a double check here. It's just going through the warning. So 40's got 2 warnings. The first one doesn't really count on I don't think on lap 1, but yeah, Macca does have a 3-second time penalty. Zach's only got 1 warning, so obviously the gaps behind are critical if they want to keep ahead of these guys, well, for Macca especially, ahead of Zach come the end of the race. So Spilly, I think, is now got by Dr. Dre for 7th place. I think Plebs at a moment coming through the second chicane of Ariente della Roggia. I'm telling you, he's not brilliant, I'll admit, but there he goes, Macca again, doing another switcheroo. As there's Lazy Tail. I think he's just served his drive-through penalty for obviously the speeding under virtual safety car. It might be a bit harsh, especially. Well, it depends on whether he did it. It was under the Delta time or not. But oh dear, poor old BK. He's having a real shocker at this point in time. I think he's trying to get himself reversed here. As actually, so after doing that, he unfortunately gets himself disqualified as well. So yeah, like I said, 1 Alpha doing very well at the front here at the moment. 1 Alpha not doing very well, like I said, unfortunately. So. Fortunately for BK, he's now obviously disqualified. Joins the disqualification list. So, yeah, obviously, that elevates us up another spot there into P18. Not that it matters too much. Because, like I said, if you DNF or disqualify yourself, I don't think you'll get points. Essentially, like I said, when you have a full 20-car grid, literally the points go obviously from first to 20th, so it's not P1 to 10 like it usually is in other leagues per se. But you saw 40, and Mac did switch back around again.
5, and he's just at a 23.
But yeah, the pace.
You've said that like 5 times already.
It's talking about the
focus forward. Stop talking so much.
yeah, basically, was literally just telling. I think basically telling Macca to shut up and just get on with the driving here. And literally, I mean, I've been doing this since about lap 3, and I don't think Macca has even realised that. I was trying to let me do all this sort of stuff. You focus on the other bits. As that was a big slide coming out of Parabolica there for Waffles. Got to say that pretty decent save all around there. But I think Macca just pretty much still did not shut up at all during the end of this race. So there's amazing how he was starting to close in slightly to Wogboy as well, and he actually got by Wogboy for P5. Spilly didn't really. I don't know what happened with Spilly, unfortunately. He just didn't seem to show much pace here, and you can see Zach also. I think his pace started to drop away as well because the gap started to grow quite a bit more. I think amazing how had a bit of a moment coming through the second chicane.
What was that?
What a straight line that is. These guys are battling here. They're battling for 14th and 15th, and now they're going to get lapped, obviously. The Rock has just got himself lapped. I wouldn't be surprised if Lazy Tail gets himself lapped as well very shortly.
Everything he can to not get lapped.
You heard there Macca just saying Tao was going to probably try to do everything he could to make sure he couldn't get lapped. But I think if you go through 3 of the blue flags and you keep ignoring it, the game will give you a penalty. There's a little bit of a close moment there. I don't actually know what occurred there, to be honest. But the Rock actually got the move on Lazy Tail. So, yeah, I still don't actually know what occurred there. But anyway, we're nearing the final lap of the Grand Prix here. And obviously, Macca still has that 3-second time penalty up his sleeve. So but, the gap was still... it was actually growing pretty much between the top 2 and, well, the top 2 obviously keeping close company with each other. But I think Spilly actually finally got past Wogboy for 6th place. But again, the penalties could play a big factor. Gaming Burger's now out of the Grand Prix on the last lap, mind you, and he was just literally outside the points, and he's crashed coming just there outside the exit of Parabolica there, where it's had his few moments along the way. But unfortunately, Macca did get another time penalty on the last lap as well. But I don't think it'll matter too much here because the gap to Zach behind was just big enough to make sure he would manage to hang on to a 2nd place there. So there was the top 3. There's Toddy having a nice slide coming across the line there to get P4. But again, like I said, penalties could play a factor here where everybody finishes here. Amazing how finishes in P5. No, Spilly actually gets Toddy by... have a look at the gap there. It is literally not by much in the end. And they were discussing it. There's the Dr. Dre and Aussie Wizzy Rick having a battle, and Aussie Wizzy Rick wins out in the end there. But it was literally not by much. As here comes Plebs across the line. He smashes it into the wall. Waffles does it a little bit more better there, I think, in the end. So... yeah, unfortunately for poor old Toddy, what could have been P4 in the end. I think they were discussing it in the party. Had he not done that spin across the line, as he was coming, like I said, as he was coming across the line, he might have actually held on to P4 there. But unfortunately, in the end, with that penalty, I think he had a couple of penalties in the end. But anyway, it was just... discussing whatnot in the end. So in the end, 40 does win the Italian Grand Prix. So congrats to him. Ahead of Stuart McKenzie and Zach Crichton in 3rd. All right, so Spilly in P4 had 0 penalties. He's usually like that. Toddy in 5th. Amazing out 6th on his debut here in Dynamic Nights Esports. Wogboy 7th. Aussie Wizzy Rick 8th. Dr. Dre 9th. And Huda Magic in the 10th. Plebs just missed down in 11th. Gaming Way for a 12th. Rock 13th. Lazy Tail 14th. And then pretty much everybody else was DNF'd. And obviously that includes myself. And I think we ended up like P18 in the end or something. But and obviously the 2 behind got disqualified, being BK and El Tonki. But there's the driver's standing, so it's now 43 points between Zach Crichton and now 40, who's jumped up into P2 with a decent result. Aaron, obviously, who didn't take part, ends up in P3 there. There you can see where your favourite driver is at the moment. Toddy Matimo still in the top 10. We've dropped back to P12, just behind the Waffles. As he's just picked us by a point there. But Mercedes have a 101-point advantage on racing points, so they're pretty domination at the moment there. Ferrari in third, Williams in fourth, Red Bull in fifth, Alfa Romeo in sixth, and Haas in P7. It's pretty close, actually, between us guys. You got Renault, McLaren, and Toro Rosso rounding out your top 10. But yeah, unfortunately, it's obviously when you DNF out of the race, there is no highlights. It's a bit of a shame, really, but hopefully you guys girls did enjoy this video at the Italian Grand Prix. If you did, be sure to give it a big smash on that like button. As always, you can leave your comments down below. Subscribe to my channel for plenty more Dynamic Nights Esports Master on F1 2019, plus plenty more video gaming content as well. As always, all my social media links will be down in the description. Plus, I'll leave the links down below to the Dynamic Nights Esports YouTube channel, their Instagram channel. Like I said, their Facebook and Twitter channels, I think, are coming soon. So keep an eye out for that one. So, yeah, and I'll also leave the link to the live stream as well if you want to go check that out. But, yeah, basically until the next one, which I don't know when that'll be, it is goodbye, and I'll see you all next time.
I want to tell you a little story about